Well, hello there, Apple Biteys. This is your Apple Bite Raphael Tavares, or Written Writ Ralph, talking to you straight from my set of Written Writ Ralph. But we are here with Urban Action Showcase, and we are about to talk to Abdul Rashid. Right? Did I get that right?
Rashid. Rashid.
Rashid.
It's fine.
I know. That's why, I always try to get these names going because I want to get the name right.
No, you're cool, man. You're cool.
All right. So,
I
we
make
were
sure my
talking a little
eyebrows
bit
are right.
behind the scenes. A little powder on the forehead.
Right, exactly. Exactly. There's a lot of glistening.
We were having a little bit of fun behind the scenes and talking about things, and I figured we should go live and talk about all this stuff with you beautiful people. And first of all, I want you to tell us who you are, what's the name of your company, and what are the books that you are looking to release?
All right. Well, I am Abdul Rashid. I am a native of Flint, Michigan. I'm repping Detroit because I don't have any major Flint shirts right now. But let me see. I'm from Flint, Michigan, but I'm based in Cleveland, Ohio, actually Shaker, Ohio, a little suburb out there. And let me see. My studio is AHRVisions. It's a transmedia studio that is evolving and everything, prepping for some really nice stuff in the near future. Collaborating with push not only the 2D to translate that into other multimedia transmedia platforms and everything. Um,
Right.
uh, Let me see, just really spotlighting and showcasing characters of color, a large, diverse, inclusive presentation, genuine, diversity within the industry on the multimedia genre platforms.
Right. So you're trying to start this company that does entertainment, and I see that you have like a bunch of books that you're working on, and they look very
Hmm.
diverse. Which is one of the things we want to talk about today.
Yes.
And
Yep.
tell us a little bit about Black Rose.
Oh yeah. Well, not a problem. Black Rose is actually kind of like our Batman character. He's our centerpiece character. Um, Basically, he is to kind of like sum it up. Um, he's looking to infiltrate the underworld by being part of the underworld. Is kind of a an homage to characters like the Green Hornet or let's see, or Batman to a degree, or like these and Iron Man to another level and everything. Basically, what's happened is that imagine a character that has learned or in the underworld elements
Right.
um, and everything to become not only versed in looks but also in the public life, the urban, the civil life, so to speak.
Right.
And in the process, really has grown to like become a good infiltrator and diplomat and everything with the criminal element, and walking that fine line between criminal and hero. Um, Unlike some characters and everything, he's more of an anti-hero, you would kind of say, because he doesn't hesitate to pop in a cap in somebody if it's necessary, but then also struggling with that dynamic of like, okay, you know, uh, am I? How far do I go down the hole before I can't come out? So like, it's that struggle as well. Like he's the proverbial. I've always said that, like, and this was I heard recently. He's a good guy, but that doesn't mean he's nice. And I kind of
That's actually good information. Yeah.
mentioned that to you not too long ago, and I believe in that philosophy. we, I mean, Black Rose is a good man, but he's not. You
I
got
think
to
you're
earn that,
chopping up a
and
little
so
bit
that's
Okay, there
he's
you
our
go.
centerpiece character, be the explosion, the catalyst to our expanded universe.
All right, so now you have your head of your universe, which is the Black Rose.
Okay,
And I like the way where you're going with it.
right.
It sounds. I feel like
Hmm.
you're right. I feel it has a more Green Hornet type of feel to it than it does Batman and Iron Man, but it's
Yeah.
inside that same vein. So then you have the
Well,
Ape.
yeah, yeah. I mean, as the story expands, you'll see what I mean when I reference Batman and like
Oh no, no, I can
when people read
see.
the book.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
where you're coming
you'll see
from with
more.
it. Yeah.
But definitely, there is that Green Hornet platform and everything that plays into it. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the Ape.
I've always liked the idea of playing with different dynamics of theology and mythology and mysticism and so on and so forth. And so, like, I've always believed that you need the proverbial superhero team in the mix. You know, the superpowers and the flight and the super strength and so on and so forth. So, I like playing with the idea that something can relate to that. You know, theology. So, imagine angels having walked the earth and one of those angels going like batshit crazy and wanting to prove that man really was, a flawed experiment. So, giving some of the worst humans on Earth an angelic ability,
Right,
and these humans now these humans are now immortal, and having the capability of doing these catastrophic deeds and whatnot. So, since God has mandated that an angel cannot directly harm a human, the other good angels were forced to create immortals that were good. And so now you have the world filled with, like unbeknownst, you have this secret group of humans who are now immortals, and which kind of plays with the dynamic of the term Nephilim, and you can play with that a little bit, but that have made these immortals and everything, and kind of like this ongoing war of immortals have been going on the earth unbeknownst to us and everything for millennia. And this particular title centers around a group of these immortals who are part of a larger united front, but these just so happen to be the best of the best,
right,
and they are trying to stop the rumored reemergence of an angel, this insane angel, so to speak, that was actually buried someplace on Earth, which is what his punishment was for like creating these immortals, was to have humans kind of walk atop of him for eternity. But these evil immortals are trying to use this angel as a weapon. And I always, you ever seen the prophecy?
yeah.
With
One of my favorite
okay,
movies. Yeah,
right. So I always liked the idea of, like when they were talking about the only thing about angels depictions on in movies is that like they make them kind of limited or kind of like susceptible to harm by humans.
right.
And so the angels that I have in my book and everything are like, since imagine, since God has always used an angel because God is too powerful, so he sends an angel to do certain deeds and whatnot. So to really think about all the amazing and majestic and powerful things to do, you really stop and think about the horror which they can really unleash. Do you really ever want to meet an angel because of how ridiculously powerful that thing could be? So imagine this villain, this angel, this insane angel who wants to see everything dead, like heaven, hell, everything gone. Imagine a weapon like that if you're able to weaponize an angel. All right. So like, like because there's nothing on this planet that could really stop them. There's nothing earthly that could really do anything to it. So that's the horrible power behind something like that becoming a weapon. So this is what, in the first story arc, this is what they're trying to prevent.
That's great. I like where you're going with it. And you're right. I do feel like a lot of the media does bring angels a little bit down to size, I guess, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of
Yeah,
weird because like I've always felt that like if there's anything that is the most because they'll make it like they don't know what emotions are. It's like what does love mean? What does this mean? And so on and so forth. And they're like new to everything. And like in reality, they're probably very versed in like every freaking thing because if you stop and think about it, going off a theological sense, the first war that ever existed was the war in heaven, and that was
yeah,
started off of what?
mhm,
Jealousy and envy.
exactly.
So
They
yeah,
know the emotions. Yeah,
they know emotions all too well, which is horrifying if one was to go nuts. So, like,
yeah. The whole point of Lucifer is like, I'm not bowing to those
right,
humans.
I'm not bound to a talking monkey again, taken from the
Exactly.
prophecy. Why should I buy what? I mean, like, look at me, you made me from fire. This thing is clay. Look at this. So, I mean, when you stop and think about something that if Lucifer, for all intents and purposes, is, like the dynamic of heaven and hell, if you really think about it to a simple dynamic, Lucifer is the warden to a very big prison.
Yep.
But if when you think about something like the angel in my book is called is Set, is the angel Set, or the Egyptian god Set, but he was an angel. And so
Which
he's
makes sense.
actually
Yeah.
right. He actually has gone totally like I said, batshit crazy. And he wants to, and because of his time being imprisoned and everything, he's now and that plays again with the whole dynamic of angels having emotion. It plays in terms of the fact of like when you find an angel that has gone imbalanced, emotionally imbalanced, and so you have this angel that cannot directly kill people, but can create typhoons and hurricanes and so on and so forth because like all the things that we identify as natural law, that thing can actually manipulate and beyond because it has an understanding of metaphysical law. So it's thinking of not just like fourth dimensional ideas and whatnot. This thing can think like dimensions that we haven't even conjured or fathomed or thought about because we can't think or fathom what this thing can possibly do and everything. So it's really disturbing to have a weapon potentially like that. So, and that's the type of level with the eight heroes. I want villains and heroes in there that you come across and everything. And it's like these insurmountable odds and everything, but it also caters to the dynamic of the human spirit because I'm a proverbial optimist. I believe that the glass is always half full as opposed to half empty. And I don't believe in a no-win scenario despite the odds. But don't worry. But the content of the books, you look at it and go like, how the hell are they going to win this? And it's like, like, what is this? You can't beat this. And it's like, but there's a way.
I don't know. It sounds to me like I really don't see it that way because I feel like you've broken it down and you know where you're going and you know what the rules are. So
Hmm.
you're gonna. It feels as a writer,
Hmm.
I feel like you've created this universe, you know,
Right.
and you know what the boundaries are, you know what the rules are, you know who's who, you know what they can do, you know what they can't do. You have a
Right.
very well formulated um sandbox to play in, and I feel like
Yes.
you know where you're going, and you've written your way to where you want to go.
Yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely. Like I've already thunk about how Black Rose is, going to encounter what series of events causes Black Rose to meet the eight or encounter figures or members of the eight, and then obviously how they will intertwine with Scorn, which
Mm.
leads me into our Scorn, our female character, our Wonder Woman, so to speak.
Ah, like how
Uh,
you do
uh,
that
uh,
very smooth. So
Thank
tell
you.
us about Scorn.
Right. Scorn is our centerpiece female character. Um I've always felt that like and it's just now getting to that point to where like people are getting away from the 90s and 80s and maybe even early 2000 female characters where it always wondered like how the male characters would be fighting crime and everything in a full-on bodysuit and for some reason the female characters were still able to function and fight crime in bikinis basically, and
Of
that
course.
never made sense to me. And I was like, this is like even when I was little and I was a fan, I liked Wonder Woman, I liked the X-Men and Storm and everything. Storm obviously was one of my favorite female characters. And but I always looked at it and go like, huh, and she's not getting scratched like once. I mean, she's
Come
a
on.
mutant, she can manipulate, like, but still, I mean, like, she's going against Sabretooth. I mean, she's bleeding somewhere. She got to be cut well, sometime.
Makes
But
sense to me too. Yeah.
right, it would make sense to me. So like I always wanted to create a female character that was, fully, she's like our Daredevil. So that's another reason because like she's more of our down to earth, gritty detective type. So and because of that, she had to have tactical, armament and body, body tactical, and make it flexible and make sure that it was maneuverable and everything. But it had to be realistic. So like I wanted her face, her identity is covered by, like a hybrid, material type of mask, so to speak, and
Right.
everything. Her body, her uniform is like fully covering her, and like, and she's full on, like when she hits you, it's like you getting hit with a brick. Um, because she knows how to use her body, she knows how to use her weight, and she's putting all of everything into it and everything. And she does not leave a fight unscathed. And that was actually like when I was trying to figure out the way or how gritty I was trying to make it. And that's when I came across like when I saw the Daredevil series
Right.
and everything. And I loved the way, and it was kind of like I was already in my mind that that was the type of direction I wanted to happen or her to have. But I was like, how would that translate if we were to do animation, or how would that translate if we were to do live action and everything? Then Daredevil premiered, and I was just like, oh yeah, and it was like, oh, that'll work. And so and so like
I can
when
see
I
it,
was
bro.
translating it, right, exactly, that makes sense. So I wanted her to have that same level of ferocity and everything, so that when she gets into it and everything, you're looking at her when she I have a story arc where certain characters meet other characters, and she literally decks one of the eight, one of the superheroes, like the superhero type and everything, and she hits them, and obviously because they're immortal, they have regenerative features, they can regenerate. And she, one of them says something, she straight up just like punches like three teeth off the front. And he's looking like, what the shit, and everything. And like they're regenerating at the same time that they're talking to her and everything. But like like our heroes have a very tenuous relationship initially, at
It sounds like
alliance relationship initially. So like, some don't trust others, and others trust others, and other ones just don't like the other ones, and so on and so forth. So it's one of those type of relationships that ultimately have to grow. And it's going to be interesting to see them finally interact and everything, because like they're not going to have, it's not going to come off like, oh, you're a hero, I'm a hero too, yay, kumbaya. It's not
let's
going to
have
be
a
one of those.
sleepover.
Right, let's hug, automatically. This is not going to be one of those things. And the funny part about this is that like she's going to rival, like I want to veer away from this whole dynamic of this, you know damsel in distress, or here, like I'm happy to see this dynamic where you're seeing everybody on this kind of like equal plateau despite gender and everything like that. Now don't get me wrong, I'm being realistic and everything, because like you have some very powerful male figures, some very powerful female figures and everything, but I don't want it to get one of these type of things like there's some movies that have come out recently where it's just like Charlie's Angels, the remake of that,
Right.
where it's just like, all the women are very smart, all the guys are stupid. It was just like, and I mean, like if anybody's ever seen it, they're going to be right. I couldn't make it through it, but it's just one of those type of things where it's just like, like you have to be realistic, and then also with an understanding that like, I've never underestimated anyone either. So, but I want to make sure that like people don't go into this like with any of my books and everything and say like, okay, they have a peg on like who's the bad guy and who's this guy, because all the heroes are characters of color, all the white people are bad. And all the white people, right? I'm not, because
Yeah.
we have some Eurocentric heroes, as well as we have Eurocentric villains. We have Afrocentric heroes and Afrocentric villains, and so on and so forth. You know, it goes across, you know, like the spectrum. You know, you have your brown heroes, brown villains, and everybody can be here. The thing is that we have to get away from this idea as creators that, you know, because a certain demographic enters the room and everything, you're a villain, because that happens too much in real life.
That's true.
And so we have to get out of this idea that, like, you know, just because you look a certain way that you're a villain. Now, don't get me wrong, because like on a daily, on an everyday basis and everything, sometimes I see something and I was just like, that dude's an asshole. And it's just like, and I'm right. You know, like, sometimes
And
an
sometimes
asshole is
you're
just, sometimes right. Sometimes an asshole is just an asshole. So I mean, so
see,
black,
but
white, red,
yeah, it has
whatever. It's
nothing to do
just
with
like,
color.
dude,
But that's just
you're
natural.
just like, right, you're a dick. So, like, so this isn't about. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask. This is this. Can I speak freely?
Well, so far we're doing good.
Right. Okay.
You know, I feel like
Okay.
I've heard that word on TV many times, so they better
Okay.
not.
Okay. Okay. I just don't want to get you bleeped or anything too much. So I'll refrain from any f bombs and stuff. So, like, but no, no, but no, man. And you know, and I think that that will segue, and then obviously scoring is kind of like that catalyst to our other female characters, such as in dynamic. We have Callie Kai, who is our Afrocentric and Asian character, and I really wanted to again introduce characters that were strong and powerful and everything like that in both the male and female gender, but then also show the diversity in terms of ethnicity, and that was very important to me. So to have this Afrocentric Asian female character introduced and whatnot, and then like show that like out of all the characters that would be introduced and everything, she's like this almost near unstoppable force, this
Right,
proverbial immovable object and everything because of her martial art ability. And I really take homage from the Five Deadly Venoms. Like um, she's developed this, you know, this fighting style and everything. Of course, that's like the Toad technique from the Five Deadly Venoms, making her like almost impervious to anything. And so she has near invincibility, and so and a stupid regenerative factor. So it kind of like slows down the aging process, obviously, but also, you know, when she fully concentrates and everything, when she's concentrating on her technique, you know, it's, you know, you're kind of like hitting, it's like a car hitting like a brick wall almost and everything for her. So like it's one of those type of situations. And then you meet other characters that have these various different martial art techniques that are like ridiculous. You know, the 100-hander, whose hand speed is like stupid, crazy, ridiculous. You know, you have the serpent's fangs and everything, which is like a play off the serpent technique. Um, you know, it's just this whole bunch of ridiculous super martial art abilities and everything. And then, of course, as you know, I'm a martial artist. I've been practicing martial arts since I was 8. So, so for me, it's also kind of like a not only a homage to the Shaw Brothers films that I love so much, but also kind of like an embracing of that martial art background that I've embraced over the, you know, past several years. And then Farrell. Farrell is another female character, but she's kind of like the kind of like the cherry on top of our expanded universe at that
right.
point. And then we that plays with science and bioscience and everything and nanotechnology, so to speak, and in terms of like manipulating cells and everything and altering, um, you know, like the dynamic of you know, the technology that has become more popular and more familiar and everything. I think right now we're entering a stage of the celebration of Afrofuturism anyway. When you look at
I
the
agree.
success of Black Panther,
Hmm.
and how successful that was, and I think a lot of people did not expect it to be that successful. You know, before it left the theaters and everything, it made like 1.2 billion or something ridiculous like that and everything. That's before DVD sales and streaming services and everything, but that movie kicked ass. And then we look at also um, recently what do you call it? Come on, think. Watchmen. with
Oh yeah, that
Virginia
was great.
King and the continuation off that source
Mhm.
material that they did magnificent on. So kudos to the casting was also amazing, and to have and she just nailed it, and
She did. It was
she
amazing.
really it was just like
So when
seeing.
they didn't continue to a second season, I was like, what?
Yeah, well, I know that they were only doing it for that one,
Hmm.
that one season and everything, but all I can say is like, if they choose to do it in some years later or what, a couple of years from now, they just to see she just destroyed that part, man. She was
Right.
amazing. And then also what they're doing with Lovecraft Country. Um, like what HBO has recently done with Lovecraft Country, and again going into that Afrofuturism type of storytelling. And I think people are seeing that, characters of color who are the protagonists in that, they can carry a property, they can carry and make some good segue, make some good results and everything. The people want to see that level of diversity, and not just diversity just because you're catering just to do it. Like don't just like you take a familiar character and then you dip them in chocolate and everything, and then make it Black Spider-Man or Black Batman or something like
I
that
was
and
actually going
everything.
to ask you about that because I know what one of the things they like to do, and it works with some characters, but it doesn't work with other characters.
Right,
I have to
right,
admit, at least with Spider-Man, they did a story. It's an
yeah,
alternate universe. Peter Parker's
right,
dead, and
right.
Miles Morales steps up.
Yeah,
Green
takes up the
Lantern,
mantle. Right,
there's a bunch of Green Lanterns, so anybody can
right,
be a Green Lantern. But there's
right.
times where they'll just make a character of something else, and you're sitting there going, but why? You could have, you have so much other stuff,
Yeah.
and I see
It,
you're in that same vein.
yeah. I don't like I'm start walking, so forgive me. Let me see. So you're going to see different scenery real quick. Um, let me see. So, like Falcon, for example, keep Falcon. Don't make him into Black Captain America. Like I love the mantle of Captain America, but the Falcon is a really solid, character, and so I think
Right.
it's good to have the solid character. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, there we go. And yeah, okay. I was cooking. So so
We
yeah,
got all got to
multitask.
multitask.
Yeah, everybody's multitasking. So hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Uh-uh. I feel like you're giving us mood now too. Am I Batman? Am I not? Remember to unmute yourself.
Okay, there we go. You got me?
I was gonna say, remember to
There we
unmute
go.
yourself.
Right, exactly. Then I start talking again. It's like, what? What are you saying? No. But what I was
Oh,
saying was is
I
that
feel like we have
can you hear
a
me?
guest coming in.
Oh,
Hold on.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
please let it be. It's
Well, it looks like it's loading, so you can continue. Oh,
I
there she
let her load.
goes! It's Cadma.
Is,
Oh, hi, Cadma.
is she in there? I'm not seeing her yet. So like, so but let me see. So like Miles
Hey
Morales,
guys.
great. That's a good example. That worked and everything, but it's not always going to work. And those are things that we have to always take into account and consider. It's not always going to be a formula like that. So don't try to use original characters. And that was one of the things that I wanted to do with the characters that we have. Create some really strong new characters. Um,
Do you see her now?
you see me still?
No, I can see you.
Um,
Do you see Cadma?
is she on there?
Yeah. Go ahead, Cadma. I think she's having
I'm
a little.
on here. It's just very choppy.
There you go.
Is she there?
Yeah, you don't see her on the screen?
I'm
No, I don't. Is she talking?
Yeah, she actually said a couple things already.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know why, because I'm still seeing the circle
Just you and
thing
me.
up there. You said what again?
You just seen. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, Cadman, you still there? I think we lost her. All right. So you were saying?
Okay. But what I was saying was basically um oh, okay, that's better lighting. Anyway, so what
Yeah,
I
you're
was
right.
saying was is that yeah, it's like I'm right over my drawing board. So part of what I was saying was is that I enjoy seeing the characters develop and everything, and like there's a desire to want to have inclusive diversity and everything like that. But I think that is more genuine when you create them and make them kind of like fresh and brand new. Like so
Right.
original characters is great when you have fresh original content and everything. And so that was the main purpose for what I wanted to do with our stuff. And having the opportunity again to work with people and talent that understand the desire to have that. And so like even like work with you guys over the past few years, and now on the cusp of like as I get ready to push this, as me and my other my business colleagues and everything
Right.
who have been amazingly supportive through this and everything, and patient because it's been a minute. Lord knows it's been a minute in terms of waiting for me to get these things done, and so like I thank them 100%, humbly thank them for that patience, especially my primary business partner and everything. I'm not going to go into names right now, but he's been um, he's been amazing in terms of the patience and everything and understanding when it comes down to it. So like when I get the opportunity to really spotlight that and showcase and talk about that even more so. That's one thing I'm definitely going to be talking about. But I'm very happy right now with the results, and people see that this is genuine. This is sincere diversity and inclusive efforts here. So
Right.
yeah,
Do you see Cadman now?
is she there?
Yeah.
You can't see me?
Dang, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's my connection or what. I don't know if it's. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can. It's got to be something with me because I am. Um, that's crazy. Should I leave and then come back?
We can
I
try that.
I can hear you
Okay.
both
All right. I'm
perfectly
gonna
fine
get out of
now.
here
She
and then I'm
says
gonna
she
come
can hear
back.
us both
And then
perfectly fine.
and then you keep her on, and then I'll just show up in a second. Okay.
All right. So I'll catch her up on
All
what's
right.
going on.
All right. Cool. All right. That'll work. All right.
All right, Canma. So we've been talking about AHRVisions and all the beautiful books that they have, and we've actually went through right now all the titles. We even spoke about the dynamic book, which you are based. Your character is based on, or you're portraying the character in the. You tell us.
Yes, I'm just portraying the character. I did model for it. And then now I'm going to be a part of the writing process for Dynamic.
Ooh, wait. Are you telling me, written Writ Ralph here, that you're going to be writing dynamic with Abdul doing the art?
No, not doing the art.
No,
I
no,
can
no,
only
no. I
draw.
said with Abdul doing the art.
Oh, then yeah.
I've seen your stick figures.
Yeah, no, I'm really good at the stick figures. Those are my self portraits. But yeah, so we're going to be collaborating to kind of just dive a little deeper into the project. Kali she's basically law enforcement, and she's a mixed mutt. But nonetheless, she's still Black. So she studies martial arts, and she sort of just basically develops a hunch that someone is out to get the one book that is basically the ultimate book of all martial arts, and she's got to step up and be like, no.
Yes.
So
So
yeah.
we have Abdul back. Can you see both of us now? I think he froze.
Yes, I can.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Hold on. You got me?
Yes.
There.
Oh, I was about to say we're
There
having
I
technical
am.
difficulties. Please stand by.
There we
Ta-da!
go. Good.
And we're all here.
I'm like crazy here.
Cameron was just
There we
talking about
go.
the fact that about a little bit about Cali, talking a little bit dynamic because I was telling
Look at
the audience that you have created the character based on Chantal.
I don't think he based it on me. I feel like it's just he ran into
yes,
me
I
and was like,
did. Yes, I
hey.
did. Most
But didn't you see me? You thought I like looked like one of your characters, and you're like, hey, this can go somewhere.
well, it was kind of that's exactly it. That's exact. Well, what's funny is that like yeah, that's basically kind of and then of course we kind of like evolved it from there and everything. And but we can basically what happened was I saw and I was just like, what the hell? Like I literally sketched the character like I don't know if I ever told you that, but I had sketched the character the night that because I was trying to create female characters
Whoa.
for the idea that I was having for AHRVisions. And then what happened was is that I was in my hotel room and everything, and I was just sketching different characters and stuff like that. And I was just like, I want to make a kung fu movie and everything like that ultimately. And now I was just like, okay, and so like, what would be the most? I was like, I love the five deadly venoms. And then like, what would be the most like ridiculous concept behind the thing? I was just like, and I remember one of my friends making. I was like, no, that's it. And I was playing, but it was like, but it was like, I wanted to have that female element in it, and so like I was just like, okay, I'm going to make the female character. So I'll make her the lead, and I was just like, oh, which fighting system have her? Which one would a lot of sense? And then it was just like, oh, the serpent technique, or make her, like eagle or something like that. And I was just like, but what would be the most ridiculously opposite concept? So I wanted to make her have the toad technique. And so because I was going to like try to see communication with the Shaw brothers, media and everything, and I could do that. And so what screw make my own, or if I know I won't get. But it was like, and so I sketched. I didn't even have a name for it really at the time, but I sketched the character, and the next thing I know, I come to the convention and I was like doing sketches and everything. I was at the New Gen table, y'all saw, and I'm sketching, and then here comes this tiniest girl coming up, and it was like, and I was like, oh my God, this is, and I started looking at my sketchbook and I was like, and you probably didn't even see the sketch at the time, but the first thing
No,
that popped
I
in my
just saw
head was
you
just like, oh my God,
doing stuff.
what is this? Right. Right. And I was just like, this is so, and I just saw it as being serendipitous really. And here we are. And so, and then from basically like, it was that thought of the name and everything, like how I kind of like just developed more so from, because like just really liked the direction that she was playing with it,
Right.
and like really loved there was a lot of passion that was put into the dynamic that she would want to put into this character and everything, and the essence of it and everything. And so like and from there we just played with it, and here we are. So I'm
Nice.
excited when the book and everything is presented. It's going to be very exciting because I want I've always wanted, characters, and I want just to like have, where's the camera here for me? I'm gonna angle this because I can never. Hold on. The one is like, where I am. So, my vanity, but it's like I wanted to really play with this notion of really um, making the character more grounded with all this martial arts fantasy behind it. But I also wanted to make sure that the person that and then this is where the character then ultimately became more based off of her,
Right.
because it was little things over the years. And again, I don't think really I've had an opportunity to really share. It's been because like I go the dark and so much. As y'all are aware, I get into my little creative things and I'm doing this, that, and the other behind the scenes. And now that I'm really at this point and everything, it's kind of I'm going to get an opportunity to speak to y'all about it even more so on this platform. But she's been actually over the years more of a dynamic to inspiring this character to where she will ultimately be presented because when I present the story, she's going to be like a stupid badass in this, and part of that has evolved a lot from my observations in the background in the back, whether Chantal knows it or not, and everything from just watching your evolution. And so, yeah, that's right. The one, no, the one behind you, no,
I have to
but
say,
seriously, I mean, from the
I really feel like it's so funny. Like you were talking about, your idea and your vision of the whole thing. And the more I talk to you, the more
Mhm.
I can feel that '70s kung fu, Five Deadly Venoms.
Mhm.
And, the more you talk about it, the more I can actually like feel the kung fu love, if anything, of the whole project. And it makes me want to like
Yeah.
check this book out.
Well, I mean, like, and that's the excitement I want to have because, like, her nemesis in that, the Hundred Handers, um, is one of those type of things where his, because of his hand speed and because of his fighting technique and his fighting style and everything, would probably be the only one able to find the proverbial weak spot on her armor because
Makes
like
sense.
she's learned to move it into certain move her vulnerable spot to her armor shield, so to speak, and everything, to where it's like he can kind of like match wits and everything. It's kind of like that one fighting that one character, that one Marvel character in Humans, who's
Boss
able
battle.
to actually see the weak spot. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, I knew you could think. And now imagine a character whose hand speed is like stupid quick, but then his eyes, the way he can see, he's also able to identify it. But she's learned to move it so consistently, almost like a blood flow, so to speak, and everything throughout her body,
Nice.
so that like
Mm.
your average person would never be able to defend against it, unlike him, who's able to almost catch it if she's not careful.
So I have a question for you because we've gone through all your books, the regular books. I know you also have another idea
Hmm. Yeah.
on how you're working things, and I just wanted to bring up the Six
Hmm.
Swords and Bleed 2039. How do these books fit into your vision?
Oh yes, yes, yeah. Um, the six swords and bleed are non-continuity properties, so like they can kind of like do whatever the hell they want in terms like their universe, their expanded universe and stuff like that. They have their own, creators, and they have their own. And then I just kind of like want to create a platform for them, as I want to create a platform for other books that are non-continuity. Um, so like the six swords is kind of like that spaghetti, homage and whatnot. Chris, I think you pronounce Chris' last name Ariel. I butcher his last name like crazy, but
We'll add it into
just a
the little bits
really
and pieces. Yeah.
area help definitely get that platform when y'all edit this and everything. You look cool. it's like so one of these things basically is like the Quentin Tarantino properties, and really like the over the top, action and everything. I really want to see this thing evolve, and so I want to help position it to a nice media opportunity. Lead is also another property that I see different elements of like the Sin City noir, criminal crime drama, and some of the high tech inclusion of high tech sci-fi and everything, kind of like that dystopian noir society and everything that you kind of take back because it's set in the future, which
Is
can
it
throw a lot of people
2039 or is
off
it
because of the way
2020?
it's looked, because of the look of it.
Ken was like, "Aren't you
What was
sure? Are
that
you
again?
sure it's not 2020? Instead of
20, right,
2039."
exactly, right, exactly, right. Well, actually, ultimately, we're going to move it further ahead in the future. Actually, ultimately, because I was actually just talking with Alan
Alan.
Edwards, who is the creator of the property, and we're gonna yeah push it ahead. Actually, just make it call, just have it called Bleed, and just push it into this new future, like maybe a couple hundred years into the future, and then
Nice.
create this dystopian uh, era and everything, and kind of like play with the future and this whole almost like a Blade Runner type noir feel and everything to it. And he
Mhm.
loves having a little bit of comedy put into it, so we'll add some comedy to it. Most of my properties have very little to no comedy in it. Actually, I don't see any of my properties having comedy in it. I'm so Vulcan, but it's just like it's just like, no, but seriously, it's just it's like this is probably the most y'all seen me smile lately. It's
That is true.
I'm very excited to see y'all again. So it's just like
We're excited
that's
to see
one
you
that I'm
too.
actually showing more emotion than normal. You said what again?
We're excited to see you
What you
also.
say?
We're excited to see you also.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah,
And
and
it's
so
true
like
though,
for
'cause
me, it's
yeah,
just like it's.
no, I was gonna say it's been
You
years.
said
I think
what?
last time we saw you was
Yeah,
New York Comic Con.
Yeah, I was
yeah,
modeling at
2014.
the booth.
Hey, you're right. Yeah, it's
Yep,
been a
I was
while.
right, exactly. Yep. Yeah, it's been, but some people don't age and everything, i.e. the young lady in the conversation. So like I've let my gray come out and everything because I didn't feel like shaving. Otherwise, I am a vampire. But it's so I try to right. So like I try to not age too fast or everything. But because I was graying, actually I had gray even then. I just never let my beard just come right out and everything. So um I said, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna let it show,
the
whatever.
Don't blame me.
apocalyptic
But
I get it.
new.
it's been interesting though, kind of like, is that what again?
The apocalyptic look.
Right, exactly, exactly. Right. It has been because of this crap and everything. I just said I haven't really gave a crap. Like I'm saying a lot of, but I'll get back into everything. Have that more of that chiseled look instead of looking like a pro. So we'll go with that. So, looking like a shepherd. But anyway, no, I'm excited though to finally get the properties out for the public to see, and just opportunity to show that level of diversity and inclusion and some genuine additions to the mythos and genre that I love a lot, that I love so much.
I have to admit, like as I've heard you talk about your books, you can see the love of the books. You can actually feel the crafting of the stories. I can see that you have actually sat there, looked at the backgrounds, really um wholeheartedly crafted these stories with a lot of love. And I also feel like you're talking diversity, but
Oh,
you're also
definitely.
showcasing diversity.
Well, that's the great thing about
Yeah, most
these
definitely.
characters. Like, so when you see Scorn, She's a Latina, but she's also a lawyer, I believe, if I remember correctly. And then you have Kali. She's law
Yep, district
enforcement. You
attorney.
got
Yep,
this millionaire mogul, and I feel like it's good
yep.
because when I audition for certain roles, I'm kind of expected to play the same roles. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've been a stripper. I was a stripper on Amy Schumer or a hooker and on Law and Order. It's nice. It's like, okay, I booked the job, but it doesn't necessarily open all the doors that I would like to play that actually fit my personality. So when I
Mm-hmm.
see titles like, Pharaoh starring Pepe Lynn and then, Scorn, when I see all that stuff, for me, it's just like, it's nice to see one, I guess in a sense, someone who looks like me, do something that's different,
Mm-hmm.
where a petite woman can actually use martial arts, which some people forget that the whole point of kung fu is actually use your opponent's weight against them. um, but that's what
Yep,
I think is so
yep.
amazing about AHRVision. So when you demonstrate the diversity, not just by ethnically, by having a lead Chinese, lead Spanish, lead Black, but also just by having them
Mm-hmm.
do something that's different, that's outside of what is expected of them based on what people think they are.
It's funny you said that because, like, with Farrell, for example, and everything, you mentioned Pepe,
I love
with that and
her.
everything, and who is helping also. Yes, she's amazing and helping to, with the development of that. I got to reach out actually to her. Um,
Oh, you gotta watch her
as
Instagram
that
or
ultimately
just go to
developed, uh, I got to check that out. Yeah, because I'm not on social media necessarily all like that.
He says that,
I'm
but
really
then he said
not.
he was
I'm really
watching you in
not.
the
But
background. That's not fair.
no, no, no. I don't get on it to where, like, like, I'm just like, ooh, what's this? Oh, what's that? But then when I get on it and everything, then it's just like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? What's that? Like I have that bad habit of not being on it for like 5 months, and then like getting like, then I'm just like, what is this? And then I'll be on it for like the next 5 hours. That entire period of time, like, like my absence in social media be like forever, and then I get on it and I can't get off of it. And this is why I don't go on it every day, because I could mess around and be like, let me see this, let me see that, let me see that, because I've missed so much. So,
Basically
I've
become
seen,
a
I probably
skeleton,
watched
where
too
it's like,
much
what's
after.
this? What's this?
Right, exactly, exactly. That tastes good. That tastes good. Right, exactly. Oh my God, I have diabetes. No, but it's like one of those moments. So, um, so yeah, I got to I see, because you mentioned it and everything. Now I got to get on Instagram again. See, thanks. But anyway, um, it's but no, but a lot of people would look at the Pharaoh and then see the Asian character there, and then expect her to have some martial art background, because it's stereotypically cliche to
Right.
assume that this Asian character is going to know some martial arts. Um, I made it a point to where, like, she has no martial arts background, no martial arts ability, no, no. In fact, quite honestly, as I was telling Ralph earlier, before we got on, I wanted to make it a point that, like, some of our characters have, the majority of our characters have no martial art or fighting ability, in terms of tactical martial arts. Some of them are brawlers, or some of them are like combatants in their own right, but nothing with extensive, like, exotic forms of fighting. Only a few of them, like, take the point, because contrary to the belief, not everybody in the world has taken a point to learn the discipline. And so, like, for every one of myself in a room and everything, there's probably 12 other people out of the 20 people I could be in a room with and everything. It might be two or three of us that have formal training or background, and I wanted that to be reflective in my characters. So, like, just because they're superheroes or whatnot, not every single one of them are combatants. I wanted to, like,
Right.
make sure that, like, that was associated to certain characters. So, like, in the eight, you have the one character, Salahuddin, who is a martial artist, and then maybe one other character, hero out of that group, is a martial artist to a degree. In Out of dynamic, of course, we want Callie to be this martial. She's a martial artist, because most of the fighters in there are martial artists and combatants because of fighting technique and style. With Pharaoh, she has no martial arts background and everything because of the circumstances that make her what she becomes. She's highly dangerous because she had, outcat, DNA going through her body. So I wanted to like kind of, switch it up a little bit so that people are into not expect people will be surprised when they see certain characters do what they do because it's unexpected.
That's good. It's playing on the whole aspect of things aren't what they are supposed to be or what the stereotypes are. Which we all see too much of anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just like Cadmo was
Yeah,
saying.
I'm
You
not
go, you
big.
go on
Yeah, I
set
don't like.
and
I
you're the
mean, like
cook,
just
you're the
talking about.
hookers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you
It's
would
good.
think that in 2020 and everything, we're kind of like pulling away from that dynamic, but that still very much exists in the because the gatekeepers are still the same. So, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to again have AHR Visions develop with my business partner. Um, I want this dynamic to where we become the gatekeepers, so that like we are expanding these. And don't get me wrong, I want to make the point, like I believe obviously there's, people with good intentions and so on and so forth, and the proverbial, I got to start somewhere, kid mindset. But the thing is that I want to see more opportunities and everything that allow for more of a uh, uh, more opportunities that I see for the lawyers and the doctors and the other primary primary characters and everything fall in the hands
Right.
of our diverse spectrum of actors and actresses that are out there. So the other dynamic is that I don't want to necessarily. I want to ultimately be the person writing the check as opposed to the person getting the check. So my focus over the next few years and everything is really making sure that I'm in that position to do that.
Well, I like what you're doing. I like the fact that you got your own stuff set up. You also are opening your hand to other creators out there to come and create with your company, and try to create this plethora of change. In other words,
Oh yeah, yeah. I like that. There's that word right. Good.
Well, no, it's great because when you, whether it's just for the actors or it's media has such a powerful presence and it really influences older generations, the middle generation, and of course the younger generations the most. And it says so much when you see people thinking like, okay, well, I only can um be this because this is what I am. They sort of start to identify
Mhm.
themselves and they lock themselves into boxes. In fact, probably one of the like strangest, like heartbroken but also heartwarming moments I ever had was being the dork that I am. I was watching the Wonder Woman movie and I dressed up in full Wonder Woman gear. Like I was
you did.
completely all out. And I remember seeing these two, like, must have been about 7 or 5, two black girls were staring at me. And I heard them talking about me. They were like, I didn't, and what it kind of like hurt my feelings in the sense that one of them said, I didn't know I could be Wonder Woman. She had no clue. And I was just like, no, like Princess Diana herself, yes, but there's
Mhm.
others. There's Nubia. There's so much more. But just even just seeing me walk into a movie theater dressed up and cosplaying like the nerd that I am, that image alone, like it seemed like it had an effect on
Mhm.
her. And I really sat there and thought about it. Like these are the kind of projects that people need to see, where they see more of something that's different opposed to what's being like locked in on them. No offense to certain other channels, but there are certain channels I just don't watch because to me it's like the same regurgitated thing over and over and it locks people into a box. And unfortunately, as kids grow up, they start to think, okay, I think that's what I'm supposed to be, or that's how I'm supposed to act, that's how I'm supposed to talk. And then to anyone who is not of your ethnic background, whether you're mixed or not, it's just sort of based on how people identify you as. Someone as a, I guess, an outsider or a
Mhm.
foreigner will perceive you that way because of what's presented in media. With something like this, you start to see, oh, okay, there's more out there. It's more than just doing this. or I'm supposed to do that, foreigners and people of that same ethnicity can stop and say, oh, this is super great. That's who I am, without having to fit themselves like into the box.
I mean, you summed it up excellent. I mean, like, I think the reality, you know, it's getting deep now. Um, I think the reality is that we have catered to a specific type of stereotype and presentation in the media that has become kind of almost a staple and almost expected when it comes down to what will be accepted as Black entertainment or minority or ethnic. Um, I'm not a fan of the and I'm probably going to get kind of some, this on this, but I'm not a fan of the who ate a salad when from the barber shop to the beauty shop, salon, barbecue, guy in the dress, you know, m- black exploitation like genre into
Right.
filmmaking. Um, I never really have been, um, so to speak, because like I've always felt that. I mean, there's a market obviously for it and everything. I don't have and there's no hey, my hat, my kudos to anyone who enjoys it and everything, because again, those are meant to be lighthearted or drama oriented or storytelling. And there's a market for that. Tip my hat to it, and I have no problem with it as far as that goes. That's just not necessarily my cup of tea or what I'm looking to make as far as a creator. Ultimately, I want to see properties that showcase our layered storytelling. I want to showcase, I want to showcase us being the detectives. I want to showcase us being the costume vigilante or what have you in this pop culture. I mean, there's obviously also a very large market for that. Otherwise, Black Panther would not have been so successful. Otherwise, Watchmen would not have been successful as it has been.
Right.
Lovecraft Country would not be as successful as it's been. Afrofuturism properties would not be on the spotlight as they are and everything. And mind you, we're just scratching the iceberg. There's so much expanded opportunity that can manifest from this. I say this mainly because again, I'm not downplaying any levels of storytelling, but I just feel that our, like as far as like our, like our audience of a diverse perspective, so Afrocentric, Latino, Asian, Middle Eastern, Eurocentric, even, we don't necessarily, but primarily, even specifically with our Black community, we don't necessarily have to stay so integrated with the melodramas of love and hip hop oriented culture television. Like it doesn't always have to result in glasses being thrown and wine being
No,
thrown
it's a chair,
and
according to
somebody's,
Boondock.
shade here. Oh my, I'm sorry. Yeah, right, right, exactly,
Oh
right.
my
Throw the
god,
chair
they
in the
threw
middle
a
of the crowd
chair! Best
and
episode
everything.
of
Right.
Boondocks.
They threw a chair. Right. And then that was one of the best. Exactly. But Aaron Gruber actually hit the nail on the head on that. I mean, like it was really one of those
Yeah.
type of things where it's just like you want to start a riot, throw a chair in the middle of the crowd. And it's just like, it's one of those type of things. We don't have to cater to that, but I think that was also part of the message. We don't have
Yeah,
to
no,
cater
it was.
to the yeah, I mean, like you don't have to cater to the expected stereotype
Right.
and expected cliche that results in what we identify as Black filmmaking. I just don't agree with it. I never have, and I don't think I ever. No, I don't. It's nothing about a thing. I never will,
Right.
because that's just not something that I see us as. We pigeonhole ourselves. I want to see us being not only heroes, but not so much like the not the. I don't. I want us to be the heroes, but not the sidekick, and not just the sidekick to the heroes. I don't want us to necessarily be, the afterthought hero and everything that kind of like, shows up and, the Bagger Vance, magical Negro scenario. Like I come in and, oh man, he's struggling with his golf game. I need that magical Negro to come in and save the day, or
Like
like, or drive in
electromagnetic
Miss
real.
Daisy scenario, and right, right, exactly. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying it's not real, but that doesn't have to. But every time I look up and everything, it's just like, I like the shirt. There's a shirt that I've seen and everything. My wife has. It's just like, it's called, like, again. I gotta watch what I say. I don't know if this is like, can I freely say or speak or
It is
whatnot.
Bitten Apple
I don't
TV.
know if
We've
like
always given
this
people
like
the
an
Go
adult
liberty
for
to
it.
speak
show.
their mind.
Okay, all right, cool. So there's a shirt that I saw and everything. It said, "Fuck it, I'll do it," and it's like black women. That's like, like, and it's just like, like, and it's just like, I love that shirt, man. It's just like one of the best shirts, but it sums it up. It sums it up so well. And like, and my thing is that, like, I want to see. I don't like the proverbial idea that, like, every time you see a black man or a black person in the media, particularly with brothers, pull your pants up, man. Use the belt for what it's meant to. It would be great. I
Yes.
don't need to see your underwear, or like, like, you should not be, if you're 4 and struggling with your pants, I can get that. But if you
Right.
are anywhere 12 and higher and you don't know how to use a belt at this point and everything, you need to be slapped. And so, like, and again, I'm probably going to get a lot of dislikes off of that. But it's just like, it makes no sense. Like, if you want to come into, you can't be taken. Don't think that you're going to be taken seriously in any business meeting. Like, you're sitting down to keep your pants up. Every 5 minutes you pulling your pants up because your dumb ass hasn't put on a belt or know how to use a belt properly and everything, and you're
Well, that and not
engaging with
really
people
understanding
and
where it
thinking
really
that you
comes from.
seriously. You're just right, exactly, or where it comes from. I mean, like, I look at that sometimes, just like, do you not understand where that comes from? The prison culture, or the slavery background from where it comes from. I mean, like, it's just disturbing. And so, like, that mindset and everything, you're not going to see that, perpetuated in my story. Although, don't get me wrong, I will put that in there for the victims list. Some of them will be proverbial looks and whatnot like that will have a harsh reality check and everything with some of our heroes, like Scorn, who is like more of our urban-esque character and everything. And then some of the incidences that you might see with Black Rose and everything when they try to, step to, make a bad situation horrible, for them and everything. So, but this isn't one of my soapbox preachy moments. This is real life, that, like, how do you want to be seen? And, like, this is one of my efforts in terms of these properties where I want to show that we can be better than what's expected. We can be better than the stereotype. We can be better than the cliche and everything. But the question is, do you want to galvanize and be better? So that's where a large part of our messaging and will be mandated in terms of projection in our books and our titles.
Did we
No, I'm
freeze?
done.
No, we didn't
Okay.
freeze. You finished talking.
I was like, oh, did he freeze or did he
Yeah, I
finish?
don't know. Okay.
No, he's
So,
just doing it to mess
yeah,
with us.
no, no, I'm done.
Oh, that's a good message, and I do feel, again, I do like the fact that
So,
you're actually, you're not just saying it, you're doing it. You know, a lot, like you were saying, a lot of people
mm,
out there just talk about
yeah,
it, just
and I
let's get
appreciate
it
that. Thank you.
done. You were saying?
He
Yeah, it's
said
a
thank you.
process,
He
man, but that
appreciates
that's a process.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's the whole
yeah.
thing.
And I mean, like, and it's
If
it's
we
it's
want
it's a
this stuff to
process.
happen, yeah, if we want this stuff to happen, then we need to do something about it.
you need to
Most
because
definitely,
there's
most
a
definitely.
there's a
And
film
I and
about.
again,
Go ahead. Oh, everyone just got
no, go
quiet
ahead.
now that
No, go
the
ahead.
spotlight's on
I want you to
me.
go ahead.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's the reason why I like certain films where I just forgot the name of it, where they were about the three black females who actually were in NASA. They were, working on there. I thought that was not NASA, the mathematicians, and it was beautiful. There was another film, I forgot the name of it. I just recently saw it, and it was sort of hinting at her superpowers, Raphael was probably talking to you about it. And
Hidden
the lead
Figures.
character was black, and she was just a
That's one of
normal
them.
girl with these extra abilities. And colors, that's what it was called, colors. And she could see like the colors of the sky, of the earth, and she had these crazy abilities that actually ran in her family. And most of it's like predominantly an all black cast, but when the movie came out, I didn't hear so much about it, and I was like, this is a good movie. This is a positive image. This is something that's different, and that's what I really like loved about it. I'm like, this is different, but then the other stuff that locks you in is like, that's the stuff that's being talked about. And I'm like, well, what about this one? This isn't all black. In fact, it's about an entire black family that has superpowers, and it only runs through the women. That's it. Like, the men don't get anything. It's just the women. And I thought it was like such a cool, amazing story.
Right. You're right. Well, I think one of the things is that, like, don't, we still have to take into account that we still have to there are gatekeepers um in Hollywood and media in general and everything. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way it is. And
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with that whatsoever. I just want to make sure that, like, as time evolves and everything, it's not so much like, how do I get myself in the door? Sometimes you just got to create a new door
That's what the
and make
internet's
it happen. And
for.
so yeah, right, exactly. And now that the streaming platforms are becoming obviously more prevalent, this is creating more avenues and opportunities for us to do certain things that traditionally or historically have not necessarily been the case. So, and then I think also we have our Eurocentric cousins who are seeing the necessity for this effort, and and wanting to help with that initiative and everything, because I want everyone to prosper. I want everyone to have an opportunity. I think that that's also one of those confusions when they see a creator of color sometimes, and they're just like, like, well, they're only trying to do this one thing just for the. No, it's not even like that. I don't want more. I don't want less. I just want equal opportunity. And I think that if you create equal opportunity, sometimes you got to create equal opportunity with your own hands, and like, show that it can be done, and then prosper and generate from it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, you have to conform to a certain formula either. You can actually create your new direction, create your new formula, create a new formula, create a new catalyst, create a new platform altogether. Because, to be quite honest, there's so much room in the industry. We just have to make sure that we get our fair share presented to us and everything, and or take it in one capacity or another, and to then go from there. It's a lot of work going through it the long way, going through it the way that you're creating it on your own, as opposed to trying to bust the door down of the pre-established institution. But it's worth it even more so when you do it on your own, and um, that's the cake that I'm looking forward to. People say, like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Fuck that. I want the cake, and I'm making that cake and I'm eating it too, because I took the time to make it, and I'll be dumb as shit if I didn't take some opportunity to get a piece or two or three or four.
I do
So,
have a question for
I'm having my cake and eat it too. Yeah,
you.
please.
So my question to you is, was there you don't have to name the book per se or comic if you don't want to, but was there a project or a comic you were reading that sort of like really propelled you to create AHRVisions, which is, your initials, your vision to create this company? Was there like a
Mm.
book you were reading and you were like, fuck this, I need to do something about this? Or was it just something that happened over time of seeing book after book after book that really motivated you to create AHRVisions?
Good question.
Spawn. Spawn. It was
Did
Spawn.
you hear?
Was inspired by. Uh, Heard you. It was Spawn. Did you hear me?
Spawn.
Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Oh, okay. No,
Can
no,
you hear
you
me?
were cutting out, so every time you said
Yeah,
the what
yeah,
it was, it wouldn't come out.
yeah. Oh, no, it's the Spawn. And my kudos to Todd McFarlane on that and everything. Every time I've met him a couple times at Comic Cons and everything, and as a it's different. You're able to be a pro in and you come across somebody, but obviously, he meets so many people, and it's just like, he probably wouldn't remember me from crap. But the reality is that like having met him at a couple of the Comic Cons and like seeing there was a documentary called The Blueprint where he talked about his creation of Spawn, moving on with that, and I love that. That's on YouTube. But I tell you, it was the fact that I was inspired by a couple of books, quite honestly, to create just storytell, be a storyteller, and use storytelling art. The Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, but Spawn was one of those type of books where I was looking at it and goes like, oh wow, this is something I really really want to push. Now, when I saw now the books that actually made me really want to do it from a Afrocentric perspective, I've always like and really create the studio was Milestone. And my friend my friend and mentor for a period of time was Dwayne McPhee, and he's from Detroit. And I met him a couple of times after they did. What was funny was like before he died and everything. I because I used to communicate with him via email, and I spoke with him a couple times, but we communicated mostly via email and everything. It became like a really good and he would just share a lot in terms of like his insight in the industry and this that and the other. And then we kind of lost communication, but I've always saw him as a mentor type because of what he was able to do and accomplish and everything. I think that there was still so much more that he was going to be able to do, of course. And then his tragic passing in 2011, which really bugged me, but that bothered me for a minute. But Dwayne and a couple other individuals with behind Milestone when that came out were big inspirations and everything. Like when you looked at that, because I was still in college when Milestone came out, and I was at that going just like wow, wow, wow. So like by the time I really wanted to think about like creating my own studio, which again that was really, if you think about it, wasn't that long ago when I decided to want to do AHRVisions. It was mainly because I was thinking back in terms of what was inspiring me and what did I want to see more so of. So I thought about Todd McFarlane and Spawn, and I thought about Dwayne and Milestone, and I thought about all these other properties and everything. I was just like, you know what? Oh, and that Black Girl Magic kicked in my head. That sentence, like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll do it. I was playing, but it was like, like so no, but seriously though, it was just like hearing, thinking about it and everything. And the other part was is that like I saw my children. My children were small at the time and everything. My kids are like 6 foot and 6'4" respectively now.
Yeah,
But
they're as big as you are.
amazing what that right. It's just crazy. Well, they're taller than me. They're not as big though. But anyway, no. But but like my youngest will probably they'll end up being bigger than me. I know, but no, I still got the muscles in the family. But it's but but I think the thing is that for I wanted to. They really enjoyed watching Static Shock when that was on animation,
Yes.
when I was on the animated series on regular rotation, and they loved watching different anytime a black character would show up on, or they saw a black cartoon, or they saw a black comic character and everything. And it really was like Chantel was talking about. When you see these kids having the image representations and everything, I want that. But here's the deal: I want to see that dynamic and everything for be inspirational for everybody. And I think that that's the other part. I want to see us have our fair share in the limelight. I want to see other characters of the color have a share in the limelight and everything. I also want to make sure that like we don't like ostracize or demonize or polarize our Eurocentric counterparts and everything. This can't be formula for AHR visions can't be one of ostracizing one in order to showcase in order the foreign body is part of this diverse and inclusive world, and this particular verse, this concept is starting immediately representing that and showcasing that level of inclusiveness for everyone. Because anybody can be a hero, anybody can be the villain.
Right. We
All
all
it
take the
takes is
hero's
one
journey.
small
Where we
push.
end up in the end is the question.
No one's gonna give me credit for the Joker reference. All right,
Right,
whatever.
exactly.
All right. So if you're gonna, it sounds like you're already giving
you
us a
get
couple of
kudos
good.
to
Sounds like you're already giving us a couple of good last words. But if you're gonna leave the audience with last word, what are you gonna leave them with?
that.
No pressure.
Just especially in today's climate and everything. Yeah, right, exactly. In today's climate, like just be, create positively, be progressively creative, and love each other. I know it sounds cliche and everything, and that sounds like probably the proverbial artist talking and everything, pseudo hippie. But to a degree, it's kind of like that. Like there's nothing wrong with being understanding. There's nothing wrong with looking out for your fellow person. There's nothing wrong with, giving everyone an opportunity to be embracive. There's nothing wrong with that. Social distance, of course, but be kind to each other. There's nothing wrong with that. And like kindness is not something that necessarily goes out of style and everything. I was just telling Ralph one last thing that like I'm a good person doesn't mean I'm nice, but I think it is important to be nice to people who've earned it. You know, I think it's important to, people need to earn that nice. And there's been way too many people being dicks and everything in the world. So, like, they need to earn that nice. So don't automatically just give it just because you're saying that that's nothing to do or whatnot. People got to earn that. You don't want to necessarily be a victim when it comes down or being abused for it. But but still, there's nothing wrong with being nice. There's nothing wrong with being caring. I think that needs to be, popularized again in the world. So there you go.
I love that. Earn that nice. I think that's great. And I do think people need to earn the nice
There you
because I
go.
feel like people do take it for granted.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, one
All
hundred
right.
percent. And you see, like, and I'm not a nice person. I'm a good
So,
person. I'm not nice.
so everybody wants to find you and AHR Vision. Where do they go to find out more information, to know when things are happening, to know what's going on?
um,
Where they can stalk you in the
okay.
background.
Oh, you can go to. That's cool. We do have an Instagram, which I believe is AHR Visions or AHRV.
Correct.
So we do have an Instagram presence. Um, Let me see. We're going to be updating a lot of stuff on social media as we get ready to launch. So that's going to be happening pretty soon. Our website is under construct. Will be a brand new website. Our page, our page saver is currently up at www.ahrvisions.com.
I saw that.
Some of our illustrations, they can always update, pick those up under Google or whatnot. But a lot of our stuff is going to be pushed out a lot early 2000 and throughout 2000, not early 2000, but 2001. We're going to start having the 2000, what happened here? Sorry. Um, we're going to have a lot of stuff actually promoting in obviously in 2001, 2021. Why am I saying that? 2001,
You're going back in time.
2021. Right, exactly, exactly. That's one of my powers. But in 2021, we're going to be doing a lot of launching, a lot of promotion. It's going to be a nice push forward and everything. So like, it just I have a lot of good people helping me with this, and then also I have the support of you guys as well. So as we start really pushing this out and everything, you guys will be informed. I'm sure you'll be notifying everybody, and then I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys in the conventions and everything, because that's another thing I am definitely going to be pushing to do. Seeing you guys again at we get back out to California, we get back out to New York, and we start doing Dragon Con and some of these other conventions and everything. And I want to see y'all. I'll be working to get you guys there, and I just want us to have a good time with this. So there's a lot of work, but this is going to be some fun.
Work equals fun. Sounds good.
Yeah, time to make money. Time to make that money.
All right, so you guys have heard from here. You have a lot of stuff coming out from AHR Vision. You know, a lot of diversity, which is what we're looking at. You know, we should be supporting
Yep.
independent companies, because I feel like that's where all the good stuff is coming from at the moment. Not saying anything against Marvel and DC. It's just that we're always complaining about them, and the only way
No.
to send the message is to find good stuff.
Yep. Agreed. Most definitely agreed.
All right, this is Written with Ralph signing off.
Whoop, whoop.
All right.
Ralph, we're still live. I'm so